Let's take a look at Doug Ford's business experience and success, because Doug Ford wants Humber College to be run like a business, and we know that the Ford family has a lot of success in different areas of business. And people have said that Doug Ford is a good businessman, but the companies that he ran actually started doing worse when he turned to politics, with Rob Ford's widow saying that Doug Ford ran the company into the ground, as well as mismanaged the family fortune, although these claims were not substantiated in court. What is substantiated, though, is the fact that Doug Ford is leading Ontario to reach $500 billion in debt, outpacing the spending of Kathleen Wynne's Liberals by orders of magnitude. And this was after Doug Ford accused Kathleen Wynne of fraud and a cover-up and getting rich off of the taxpayers. And we all know that there's no evidence that Doug Ford has ever made secret backroom deals. And when we talk about the province being run like a business, it's always a sign of a good business when people flee your business. And it's also the sign of a good business when the smaller businesses around you are scrambling to pick up your slack. And it's also the sign of a good business that you don't look into the history of the businesses that you're dealing with. It only makes sense to build a $500 million parking garage for a foreign company that lies about being able to build spas. And when you make mistakes and you fail at the things that you've promised to fix, the sign of a good business is to hide the metrics. And Doug Ford has a lot of experience with hiding financial metrics. It's also the sign of a good business to make stickers that don't stick that are also illegal. And it's the sign of a good business to make license plates that are invisible at nighttime. And when all else fails, you can just give people money. And we all know that Doug Ford has a long history with handing out money to people in order to gain their trust, both as a city councillor and as premier before elections. And to make things abundantly clear, I am only stating factual things that Doug Ford has actually done. It's up to you to interpret that as you will. Because as Doug Ford says, he wants things to run like a business, and we can only assume that this is how Doug Ford does business.